Well, we made it to Friday.
Friday, I'm in love. Anyway, it's yeah.
Friday, I'm in love. Yeah, that was by The Cure.
The Cure, yes.
I'm sure that song has some kind of Mandela effect probably with it.
It probably does. You know,
I'm sure somebody's done a video on it.
Yeah, it's somebody somewhere did a video on it. There's always something popping up. Someone's like, I don't remember this like this. Well, I don't know. That's why we always try to debunk first. It's like not everything is it's changed. But yeah, so I made it. I'm downloading my what the fuck news for you because I was running late with the David Paulides stuff. So yeah, you'll be receiving that in a second as I talk about our laundry online.
No problem.
Live.
No problem. Just making sure that we're on everywhere, making sure all the streaming's on. Don't sit on this. I wonder why. That's weird. No big deal. No big deal. So what we're gonna start out with is we're gonna start out with since we're talking about missing 411 and it's hard to know. I mean, 411, missing 411 is such it is an interesting topic because it's because it's either the easiest to look at or it's the hardest to look at because the possibilities is really, honestly, is off the hook on this one. And
yeah.
It's really neat. So to start, we're going to show a little Grandpa's World since you never know with missing 411, some of these abduction stories that Grandpa's telling, all I know, it could be part of the 411. I'm not joking here. It's just it could be. I mean, and if nobody knows what missing 411, of course, this is why we do the show to share that information on why. So I'm trying to see here. I'm looking at his channel. I'm trying to see if there's an abduction one that's kind of maybe that could be related to. Here we go. I'm gonna click on this. I'm gonna hit pause for a second. I'm gonna go here because this one is called the one we're gonna show on Grandpa's World is called Paul and Paula are twins who had alien abductions. And people will see what I'm talking about when we get to the point where when we get into the missing 411 conversation, because anything is on the table for this one. Anything. Yeah. I mean, anything.
Everything.
It is weird. So here we go. All right, make sure that screen is showing. I just want to make sure that screen is showing. Make sure the volume up on him all the way. Here we go. Let's listen to Paul and Paula are twins who had alien abductions. Here we go.
I'm Grandpa, and this is Grandpa's World. Today we're going to tell a little story about Paula and Paula. They're twins. And the theme is, did the aliens give a staph infection to a newborn baby? Okay, Paula and Paula were twins, and they were sitting in my house one day, and suddenly Paula started to say she had something to tell us about. And intrigued, I said, yeah, go ahead, of course. Paula then continued, she was sitting outside one night at her mom's house, and she looked up and sees the moon. It was 4 times its usual size, and it was very close to the earth, like a football field away. Paula could hear a humming noise. She got scared right inside the house. And Paula went back outside to look for it, and it was gone. Right then and there, she decided she would never tell anyone what she saw. She went back inside her house and was going to bed. And 9 months later, she gave birth to a girl. She was born with a staph infection, which was in the birth sac. With the baby, Paula didn't have a staph infection, and her husband was sterile. Okay. That's a good one.
That is a good one.
We all started talking. Since the age of 4, he has had visitors of different sorts. When he was 16, he said he liked to go frogging, like frog legs a lot. So after a successful night, he went straight to bed. But then he woke up and he found himself standing behind his house in the weeds. And he couldn't remember anything, so I didn't know if he just was sleepwalking or. Anyway, that's it for Grandpa's World today. We'll see you later on. Have a good day.
Now, that's what makes it interesting is, she's pregnant and basically he's sterile.
Yeah.
Now, hopefully, hopefully, in theory, that of course he got a DNA to make sure that he's sterile, or there's a chance that she could have played on him. I mean, there's always that opportunity that the woman could. I mean,
maybe she's a teacher or a tutor, or you don't know. We don't know.
No different than a man cheating on the woman. A woman could be cheating on the man. There's no difference on that, But I have heard a lot of alien abduction stories, and one of the stories that I hear a lot where if it's true, I'm not saying any of this is true, but I've heard that when people get operated on or checked on, it does kill their sperm. They can't have kids after that. Whatever radiation they're using. I have heard that story several times on when people have done experiments on people, not just taking them, but I mean, they found. I'm not saying evidence, but they found where puncture wounds have been punctured into their skin during the time that the guy had become sterile.
Oh. Well, there's a little bit. I don't want to say this. I don't even want to buzz it. There was there's a scientist out there right now that's running around telling people. I don't even want to say the name. Don't listen to me, guys. In fact, everything I say, I don't believe it yet. But there's a scientist talking about the shots that people are going to get, the cornholio shots, whatever. They say it's supposed to somehow make you sterile. There's a scientist screaming that it has something to do with a woman's placenta, and it somehow attacks the placenta. And I'm like, oh, another sterile kind of a idea thing going around. Another prop. I don't know if it's true. I don't know if whatever. Beware of that. Be weary of that story. That's all I'm saying as a person just talking about things. Be weary of you're going to be sterile if you're a gal taking those shots story. Just to add to the sterilization story, Eric, you want to. I just saw that today. I was like, there's always an argument to everything. There's flip of I'm not doing it, but the flip of a coin, both sides. Just want to bring that up.
No, that's I mean, of course, I'm sterile because I got the shot. I got the operation.
You got the shot. Well, you got the operation.
I got the operation done. So I know I know where I stand. And that's interesting that you brought up about the shots because I do watch. Hey Hazel, what's going on? Scott Morin, Red Pill Paul is in the chat. So welcome you three. God, that's my conversation. I do watch.
We're going into the sterilization thing about.
No. I'm bringing it up because I do watch the news, and I'm not saying I watch the news because I think everything is real on it. I watch it to find hidden stories within the story because when you watch the news, I mean, right now, if you watch the news, everything is about the pandemic again. It really is. It really is. It's like we started the year with the pandemic, and then it went from pandemic to the White House race. All political races, and then now the political race is over. It's back in the forefront. Even though they say the numbers were rising during the race, they decided to show the race. And then there was stories behind the stories, kind of like when we talked about on this channel about the story in Denmark with them destroying millions of those. What do you call those animals?
The minks.
The minks.
Yeah.
So I watched the news. I watched CNN, Fox,
Millions of
and then I
news.
watch the Canada World News because like I said, I'm trying to find stories within the story and see if all three channels are kind of showing the story. So a lot of that, like these missing stories, missing, the 411, none of those stories really get publicized. It's always whatever's the hot hand. And right now, the hot hand story is just not about the pandemic rising. It is about the vaccine now is the huge topic. Vaccine. Now, and everybody has their thoughts. Like you said, everybody has their thoughts on the vaccine. And, so we're just gonna shoot the shit for a little bit, get people to come in, and then we'll get into the 411. Now, my thing about the shot, because they're showing us all over the world, and there was certain areas of I don't want to say the name of the country, but there was a country where there was a protest about the vaccine, and then when I looked up the country to find out, is the protest because they're being demanded that they have to take it or not? And in this country, they're not being demanded, but people were protesting anyway. And that's where sometimes I'm like, if you want to take it, great. If you don't, then don't. If your country is not forcing you, then there's really no protest you should be doing, because if you're afraid what's in it, you have every right to not to, unless you're in some country where they're forcing you. But most major countries like us, United Kingdom, unless I'm wrong, Australia, some of the bigger countries, they're going to be coming out with it, but they still say it's like the flu shot. You don't have to take it. You're not forced to. So if you're not forced to, there's really no arguments about it. Now,
if it stays at that.
It stays at that. Well, people always say
if it stays at that. If they start giving you like a thing where we're going to add it to your like driver's license that you've had the shot, like whoa, or they say if you want to go to a dance club, you got to have a card. I'll be like, whoa,
no, that hasn't happened. None of that has happened yet. Now, the company that I used to work for 5 years was a medical company, and part of the job is every single year you have to get shots. I mean, if I wanted this job, I have to. I mean, now, I'm not forced to take the job. I wasn't forced to work there, but if I work there, I have to take the medical shots. That's just the way it is. I don't remember what all the shots were, because every year I know I took a booster shot, and I know I had to take 3 shots for hepatitis to make your body immune to it because of all the hospitals you go to. I'm not here saying they're real or not, but part of the job I have to do it. And it was a good paying job, so I did it. But I remember before every shot, they actually give me a pamphlet, right? They give you a pamphlet, because the biggest argument I always hear people saying is, you don't know what's in it. You don't know what's in it. And that's true. That's true. But, that's true. But Bob, when I got this pamphlet, right, of whatever they give me, when you read what's in it, there's no fucking way you know what any of that shit is, even in the first place. So when I hear arguments like, you don't know what's in it, dude, you don't even know what's in a flu shot. You don't know what's in this. Because when you read it, they give you the pamphlet because they tell you, read this first, if you have any questions, and then you can ask. I don't even know where to begin to ask a question. What is this? Yeah. What is this? What is this? What is this? What is this? And then if you look at a definition of each word, you don't even know if that definition is right. So
I stopped.
So I'm always like, if you want to take it, great. If you don't, don't. You shouldn't be criticized. You shouldn't be saying you're a coward for taking it or not taking it. It's your choice.
Yeah, the cool thing is I don't get sick, so I don't ever. I know the VA was always offering. I got my thing for the VA again. I'm laughing my ass off because I'm not even in the States. I'm like, I remember, I'm going to speak for myself and only myself. When I got that flu shot, I got sick. And I don't get sick. That's the whole point. I'm like, I told Dad, I don't get the flu. Why am I taking a flu shot if I don't ever get the flu? Dad's like, it's free. Oh, everyone else is paying for it. Might as well get it for free. And I remember the very few times I got it, I got sick. And I'm like, in anthropology at the university, I did my own research, and I was like, why am I getting sick? Is it because – no, it's not because of what they gave me. It's because what my body's doing is fighting this shot that's not getting me sick. And by fighting it, all my troops are on the front lines with one thing. So that means anything else in my body is not being defended. So the walls over here are not defended, and over here. So I was getting other sicknesses other than what the flu shot was for. And I realized I could do it myself. I'll get my own. I'll eat right. I'll just take my vitamin C's. I'll do it my own self, and I have been fine.
And I'm sure you do well. And if somebody else wants to take it, I don't think you're going to be talking behind their back saying how stupid.
No, they want to take it. That's them. That's the. No? I don't recommend it. I recommend you don't. I don't trust nobody anymore. So I don't trust this fucking. I ain't from here, so I don't trust this place at all. I don't want. They hand me whatever. Number one, do you remember the red stripe underneath the flag? Do you remember a North Pole? Can you tell me what was on Ellis Island? Wrong answer. I ain't taking your shit, local. Doing it. Go away.
Yeah. No. That's the point I was getting at. Technically in America, even though they say the shots are free, your insurance rates go up every year. So no matter what, you're paying for it somehow. You're paying for it. And I never could have taken it.
If it's for free, suspect. If someone gives you anything for free, be suspect.
I'm not going to sit here and lie to people just to lie to people, just to make it sound like. I will say, when I got when I did get the booster shot, actually from the medical place, because of the place I worked at.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, I'm not saying it's the magic of it. I'm not saying maybe I was more out of shape until I got this job, but after I got those shots, man, I did not get sick for over a year. I did not. Now I'm not saying because it was the magic of that. I'm not saying that, but I'm just trying to be honest.
I know. Yourself. Yeah, yours. I always tell everyone I'm talking about myself. Eric, you're talking about yourself.
Yeah. This was not the hepatitis. It was the booster one, because maybe I was out of shape and the booster just helped my immune system to get a kick. And that's the reason why this company does it, because in the year after, what they do is that this company, you didn't get another booster shot. They did this, I don't know what they call it, but they put a little air bubble on your hand, on your arm. It's like a little air bubble, and then you have to come back within 48 hours. And what it is if the booster shot they give you a year ago is working, then that would just, I can't remember what the color is. It'll just have a natural color. But if you have no booster in your system, if it doesn't look right, then you have to get another booster shot.
No way.
Yeah. I mean, of course, I was always fine, but like I said, if I wanted to work here, I had to do it. So that was my choice to work there. So it wasn't like, oh, Eric, you should be doing that. Listen, if you got a job, jobs got the right to make their own policies. I don't know if you know this. There is some companies in the United States of America that won't hire smokers. They won't hire smokers. And they do some hair tests. I don't remember, like once a month or once every 3 months, to see if you got that chemical that you get from smoking. And the reason they do this, some of these companies do this, is because they're tired of paying higher insurance rates for smokers. So if everybody who's working for your company doesn't smoke, they can have lower rates. Now, like I said, you don't have to work there, but if you do want to work there, it's their rules, So it's not like the government is forcing it on you; it's the company itself. Now, the only thing I've heard about anything that's being forced on the vaccine here in the United States of America I have not heard anything that the government's forcing anything or the states. But like I heard, like Ticketmaster, if you're going to go to an event that has a concert, they're making it where you have to upload that you have taken a vaccine shot.
Yeah, they're doing that. Yeah, even with the planes, they're going to be doing it with the planes. And in England over here, they're going to be, I guess they're really trying to enforce some crazy stuff coming down the pike. And there's a lot of protests going, whoa, whole lot of totalitarian shit rolling around. They're like, no, it ain't happening, man. Again, I always tell people it's real simple as A, if it's your religion, you don't have to take it. If it's within your religion, you don't do that kind of stuff, then you don't have to. B, if it's your health is infected, you could always have your health card, talk to your doctor, say, look, I can't do it because of my health problem. Boom, done. There's a lot of passive ways of getting around that. Just keep your mouth quiet. Don't fight the fucking Sims game. Go take care of yourself. Go get yourself a doctor. Say, I got a card. It's my religion. It's my right. You know, I'm a non-binary, agnostic, whatever, but does, and we can't do this kind of thing because it's against our religion. Because if so, then our sacred cow will explode into flames. So I cannot take that shot. Oh, okay. We'll fill that up for you. Here you go. Yes. My cow will blow up in flames if I take that shot. It's Allah.
Yeah.
Then don't take it.
So I guess the moral to the story is I could care less if somebody wants to take one or not.
I don't
care less. It's up to you. You're no coward. You're no coward either way. You're a person.
Yeah, it's up to you.
And sometimes you have to do things you don't want to because
for the
family for a job. I mean, you have to. I mean, nobody wants to. It's not like we were all born in the Trump's family and everything's handed to you, so you can do whatever you want. We have to struggle. We have to do what we have to do. You think I wanted to get, when you join the military, everybody knows when you join the military, when you go to boot camp, you're getting like over 10 shots with air guns. Remember the air guns where you walk in line, pop, 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 and almost any country you go to, whatever country you go to, they make you take some kind of shot. I can't remember every place, but you have to take a shot. And then listen, it was your choice to join the military. It's part of it.
Yeah.
You don't have to, and now military, they don't give you no pamphlet. They don't give you shit. They're like, okay, you want to be a dishonor discharge? No. Well, then you're gonna take this, and you don't even get to ask what it is. You just take it.
Yeah, I remember the guy in front of me. This is a true story, dude. I remember the guy in front of me. He froze. So you got them doctors like an assembly line. They set it up. They don't even look at you. They set it up. They turn around. Boom, shoot your arm. Turn around, set it up. Turn around. Boom, shoot your arm. Guy in front of me, because you're so used to being told step forward, step forward, step forward. The guy didn't say step forward. The doctor didn't say step forward because he's just in his own mind. And he turned around and shot the guy 3 times, the same guy. He was standing there like not moving forward because the doctor didn't say step forward. And so he shot the guy 3 times with the same. Of course he got sick. He threw up. Oh, what happened to him? Sir, he got 3 shots. Why did you get 3 shots? He didn't move forward, sir.
and I remember they tell you, when you get an air gun shot, don't move because if you move, it could cut you. Now, C1 wrote, we have the Constitution, and he must not decide whether we should have a vaccine. It is against the Constitution. It is, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure. But if a government, either from the president or the Senate, considers it life or death to a point that they can force it on you on certain kind of a, I don't know what's called, but they can force if it follows some guidelines, which we all know anybody can change the guidelines to match what you want to do.
There's when we're on like an emergency, there's like some kind of emergency thing. In fact,
I like that. You say, please, can I have another?
Yeah. Please, can I have another, sir? 5 more, please. Before it gets passed out.
I remember that. I think that came from Animal House when they're trying to join the thing, and they're like, "Please, may I have another?"
Yeah, that was. Everybody knows it. Kevin Bacon. That was Kevin Bacon.
Yeah, then they can make you on. Oh yeah, they can make a president, governor can do an executive order on stuff, on certain things. So
yeah. Again, with exception if it's your religion or it's a health issue. So
yeah,
if you guys are like,
I'm not trying to do a vaccine show, people. I'm sorry. I don't usually care for this kind of stuff because there is, like I said, there's reasons why we hate watching the news because it's always all depressing, and there's and not just you. Not come on. Let's all be honest here. Not just the news. Even on YouTube. Even on YouTube, there's a reason why I stopped watching 85% of truth channels because all they do is make fun of people if they want to wear something or not. I seen somebody making fun of a lady for wearing a cloth and a plastic. Listen, if they're that scared, then they're that scared. It's
placebo. It's a placebo. You know? I see a lot of placebos. If they're walking around with a clear one, I'm like, good for you. That's fine. Shit, you can breathe. At least you can breathe. I mean, placebo it up. That's all I see. But
I just don't care. People have the right to do what they want to do. If they want to, great. People have the right, and that's why we're living. I hear a lot of complaints. The United States of America, everybody's trying to rule you. You know what? I go outside still. I don't see any more cops. I don't see militaries driving down my streets and coming out with guns to say, "Get out of the house! You're taking this." I don't see none of that. And I'm telling you, people are going to say I'm crazy. Wait, next year, maybe 1 year, maybe 8 months, I guarantee everything's going back to normal. I guarantee it.
I don't remember. We're different. I think it's going to get worse before better, but I think it's going to get a little bit worse before better.
The reason I think that everything is going to get back to normal because the people in power, let's just be honest, they're rich. They have money and power. For them to stay in power and have money, you got to have an economy. You got to have an economy. If you do not have an economy, if the economy collapses, you know what's going to happen? People will take out the rich first.
Yes.
I mean, I hate to say it. I'm not saying because
in a comic book
world, but if you live in a law-free country where you can do whatever you want, and you kind of like the Purge, like the movie The Purge. If you can purge, right? If you can purge, you're going to purge the rich people first.
Yeah, in a comic book. We're only talking about a comic book. Other than that, everything's normal. It's a comic book. In fact, I mean, when that all happens, Eric, I got a leather jacket. I'm gonna put a football pad on my shoulder, and then be like Mad Max and just run around like crazy. They have like wrenches and shit hanging from my jacket, leather pants.
Yeah.
Shit, I'm gonna have a snake and a friend with a gyrocopter.
And everything is changing. Money's changing. Everything's changing. And it was kind of I'm sure people on our chat don't care about this news, but like Warner Brothers came out, right? They came out. This might be interesting to some people. It might not. They had a whole list of movies that was supposed to come out in 2020. Okay.
Oh, shit.
Okay. But it didn't come out because of the pandemic, right? Okay. Now, originally, these movies were rescheduled to come out in 2021 at the theaters. But with nobody knowing what's happening, what's going on, because movie theaters open back up and they shut back down again in most states. So what Warner Brothers just came out and say every movie they're going to have come out in the theaters in 2021 is going to come out on their streaming service at the same day, same time as the theater. So
smart.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. So now what's going now that the transformation is happening where everything is going to be more online and home. And why is that a big thing about the world? Well, when you're at home, right, when you're subscribing to streaming services or whatever services out there, what you're using is not cash. You're using digital currency where you and I have been preaching for the whole year that I am not a conspiracy channel. I don't believe in being conspiracy channels because most conspiracy channels, all they do is talk about lies. But if I'm going to say I have a conspiracy. I think the biggest conspiracy in the world is digital currency, because once cash goes away, once cash goes away and everything is digital currency, then there is nothing that any government or anybody doesn't know what you have. You know, if Bob, if you're down here, you need to borrow $10, I could just hand you $10 cash. But now, if you took away cash and I give you that $10 by digital currency, guess what? However I loan you that money using that digital currency, it's going to be a charge. Somebody's making money off you making money. So it's like if somebody wants to PayPal me, right?
Yeah.
PayPal me, the PayPal company gets a percentage of that PayPal money, and when I cash out, I got to pay a percentage. So digital currency is a way of the future for government to make even more money. Because, you know, if you make a tip, Bob, if you leave a tip, if you go to a restaurant, right, say you're going to give, for whatever reason, you're going to give this awesome waitress $100. You know, you say she did a great job. You want to feel Christmasness, you're going to give her $100. 8 out of 10 times, she's going to take the $100 and not count it as income, so she don't have to pay taxes, right?
Of course.
But, you know, I wouldn't use credit card, or if you don't, credit card, you have to claim it. But if you have digital currency, there is no way for you to hand this woman cash anymore.
Yeah, so I know.
Money you give her, she has to claim it for income, and government gets more money off tips.
I know. Yeah, they'll take over all the cartels because the government will become the cartel because there'll be no more cash. So they'll get rid of all the cartels with cash.
You want to stop drugs in the street? You want to stop drugs? You're going to have to use digital currency. And guess what?
They're gonna, cards.
If they see some guy named Jolo Sokako getting thousands of dollars every day and he's not working at some major company, guess what? They know you're doing something illegal.
Money laundering.
Money laundering. It's a way. Yeah. I mean, it's here we go. Scott Moore wrote, if 8 billion people are paying a percentage every time you make a transaction, even at 2 cents, each person, whoever that bank, is rich in one day. And that is the point that I'm trying to get at. It's digital currency. If anything that has happened, there's a lot of places now that you go to, and they have signs now saying, no cash, no more. Cards.
Yeah.
So
you guys always
movie theaters. Now, movie theaters, if they go more online with streaming services, how do you pay for your streaming service? You pay it with digital currency. Why do you think Bitcoins and all these new digital coins are coming out of nowhere?
Well, what I want to do is I can't do it right now. I'm gonna go online probably for the next show. I'm gonna show everybody. I hope it's still there. And again, I can't guarantee you, but I used my Social Security number and I moved over $2 million out of my Social Security account just because I could do it, and I put it in Barclays. Remember, Erica, when I told you I had $2 million in Barclays?
Oh, she's right. I'm saying they did that in that movie Office Space. Exactly. They laundering digitally.
So I got $2 million in Barclays. I just can't claim it. But I just I used my Social Security number and the corresponding routing on the back. I took the letter and I found the routing and I moved over $2 million out of my Social Security account. It's in Barclays. But so what I want to do is I'm going to try to find Eric for the next show. I'm going to try to prove to people, because I don't believe them. Those guys lie. I'm going to try to find. I'm going to get the site to Barclays and get into it, and hopefully that $2 million will still be there. You guys can see it. I'll put it online. I'll put it up there so you guys can see it.
Hey, Bob, that's fine. If people think we're lying about the digital currency, all I'm saying is, well, look, things are more cards now. More things. How do you pay most of your bills now? Cards.
Yeah.
Currencies. Almost only time you really have cash is for what reason? Maybe to buy like a hot dog in a stand. Most of the time, you go to a grocery store now, you're using cards, you're using debit cards. Pretty soon, you're going to be able to pay with your thumb on things. Now, look at and now I'm not going to show my card, but most cards now you can tap, right?
Tap.
So they make it even easier. We think why there's PayPal, not PayPal, Apple Pay, Google Pay. There's so many ways you could digital formats because they're making it easy. And Bob, I know you know this. You know, in Washington, we have Amazon Go stores now, right?
Yeah.
Amazon Go store. If you guys never heard of Amazon Go, people, but Amazon Go is, they got some grocery stores in downtown Seattle where you go in, you log in with your phone, you log in like a barcode, and once you barcode in, whatever you pick up at this store, and when you walk out of the store, it automatically charges you for that item. You don't even have to go to a cash register. It's automatically pulled out of your account with digital money. So digital money. Dude, it's here.
Now remember, it's fake. It's so fake that Eric is smart not to do this. Eric's clean cut. I'm not. Now Eric can vouch for me. Eric is clean cut. He's an honest fucking guy, and I'm not. I don't know why God woke my ass up, because I went to my Social Security number, and I went to it wasn't as a PayPal, it was like a special service, like one of them PayPal services. I said, Eric, I'm gonna transfer over $50,000. Can you sell me something? And Eric's like, well, I could put a piece of art up. And then I go, cool, I'm gonna buy it for $50,000. So I punched my information in. It was one button away from getting 50. Eric was gonna receive $50,000 from my Social Security number from the Federal Reserve. Eric goes, hey, bro, you know, I love you and all, but I'm not gonna risk my family, my house, and my kids so you could test out for $50,000. I said, dude, you're one button away. You just gotta hit receive. Now, Eric, do you remember that? I remember
that. The thing is, you're right. One button away. But my Social Security number, everything is on this transaction. Who knows who's looking at it behind the scenes? And now listen.
It was like $50,000.
I know. But if I wasn't married with kids, that's one thing.
Exactly. Eric got to explain to me.
You got kids and wife. You can't. There's some things you just
can't do it. Yeah, you couldn't do it. That's why I'm not mad. I'm laughing. But the fact is, you've seen it. You
should have done it with Michael before he died.
I know. I should have done it with Mike before he died, but I didn't know that all this information till later. And then I set it all up, and I said, Eric, all you have to do is hit that one button that says receive, and we'll have $50,000. It'll come straight from the Federal. Eric's like, how are you getting this money? I said, it's easy. There's no such thing as money. I went into my Social Security number, pulled the money out, transferred it over, $50,000, dude. You just got to hit receive. And Eric's like, I got a family, and I know. Okay, never mind. I just want to see if it could be done. I've put $2 million in Barclays. I just paid everything off. I paid off my student loans. I'm paying off everything with all this money from my Social Security number. And I'm not stealing anything. I'm stealing it from mine. It's mine. My Social Security number from the Federal Reserve, which is not American.
Scott said he tried, didn't work. Well, what I've learned is, Scott, I know a few people have tried it, and it did work at first. But as soon as it worked, they turn you off.
Yeah, I did it for a whole year. I did it for a year. I did it for no bills. I had made videos on my channel. No bills, no nothing. I was just, and then a lady that I knew was actually printing out. She went and got that little printout thing where you print out your own private checks. She used her Social Security number and a routing from the Federal Reserve, and she was going to the bank or going to check cashings, and they gave her a $300 limit for each check.
This is something that I hate about I do hate what governments do. You're getting it. Video games don't get bonuses if you do well. And the reason I'm bringing that up about bonuses is I'm bringing that up because this part does suck. You work hard for a company all year. You get a Christmas bonus or you get something. You get a bonus with the company. And, you bust your ass. Nobody's making $100,000 a year. We're all, people making $40,000 less. I hate it because the government taxes more on bonuses than versus regular checks. So you get this bonus, right? Say your bonus is only $200. That's a lot for you to buy Christmas presents, to help people out. But the government takes out, I think the government can take up to 41% of your bonus. That's just, I'm sorry, that's wrong. They shouldn't, you got a bonus for a reason. Now, listen, now, I get it if you're Wells Fargo, like your people that make millions, behind the scenes. I get it, taxing them high. I get it because they don't need more millions. But when somebody makes less than $50,000 a year, $30,000, that $200 means a lot for you and your family. Tax it normal, I get it. 8.9%, 10%, whatever, 12. But to take out 41% out of a bonus check out of you that you don't make that much money, to me is completely wrong. And that is something that the government should not do. They shouldn't. Now, what does he say? In Canada, for me, when I was working, almost 40% taxes and bonuses was 50%. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Same in England.
Even every state has their own percentages. So I was just averaging it to 41%. It is high like that. I know some states is like 38%, some's 47%, but I just use 41 as an example that here we go. My friend just got a $76,000 bonus. She works for Takata L. Found out how much they tax her. Well, imagine if you take away 41% from that, that means she's getting a little bit more, maybe half of that,
Half of that.
Well, here, I got a calculator. Here, let me see. I got a calculator.
40 and change, though.
Let me do this. Let me go to calculator here. And most of these fucking calculators now have fucking ad commercials on fucking calculators. Talk about making money. Here we go. 76,000 divided by point.
It's like 33%.
That's right. Over 30K they take. Yeah. It's basically. Hold on. I did wrong. I haven't done this kind of math in a long time. I'm not stupid, people.
33 about that change.
Yeah. According to they take out like over $31,000. So think about it. So 76,000 take away 31,000. So you're only getting $45,000 out of that. Now remember. Okay. So they're taking out $45,000 out of it. But remember, okay, they take out $45,000. That $76,000 still goes into your total income for the year when you do your taxes. So even though you pay more taxes, and they don't contribute that $31,000 they took out of taxes. That 76 still goes into as total income, and then you end up paying even more taxes, even more. I mean, it's fucking crazy.
Well, it's the Kobayashi Maru, man, when it comes to life and money. You ain't got it, you ain't ever gonna have it. If you have it, you're gonna keep it. So it's just the way it works here.
I mean,
slaves.
I don't mind them coming out and say, I tell you what, for people who make under 100,000, for your bonuses, we're only going to take out 5%. I don't, something just that, it's just, I don't know. Now, here's a good question somebody asked, not about what the topic, because we're about to get into our topic here in a little bit. But
I got a what the fuck news for you. I sent it to you.
You said that? Okay, that's what I'm saying a little bit. We're going to do yours first. Because we're going to save this question when we get into the 411, because Crunchy B wrote 411 means information, right? And
yes.
Yeah, it does. And we're going to get into all that in a little bit. I'm going to play Bob's What the Fuck first, and then we're going to get into the 411 missing. So sorry, guys, we got too much into how I think digital currency is taking over the world.
Fun talk.
It is. It really is. I'm not a conspiracy channel because I don't believe in spreading lies. But digital currency is here, and it's going to increase to the point where cash. Because why even? It costs money to make cash. So if the government could get rid of cash, they're saving money for even making cash.
Yeah, and digital currency is a lie, and money is a lie. It's all fake.
Yeah,
it's all fake numbers.
Let me get to what the fuck news. Here we go.
I proved it. Here we go.
Okay, I want to make sure you can see it. Yep. Oh, yeah, that's right. Our good friend TGIF is doing a live show. Awesome content. He has awesome content. Here we go.
Hello.
My name is Robert Wood, and this is What the Fuck News. I'm your host today, and I'm telling you guys about lots of crazy shit. Now, when you were growing up, you used to think about things like gravity. Gravity is really important because we keep trying to figure out how the fuck it is or what it is, how it happens, all that good stuff. But we got a lot of ideas. Thanks to Einstein, we've got ourselves the general relativity, which means it's the general gravitational classic spin of the ball, blah, 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 blah. That's the old school way. And now we have quantum gravity, which means the Earth and everything out here is all kind of controlled by the black hole, the moons, the suns, and the planets, and all the things that affect our gravity. That was our classic model of what we do. Now, I don't remember no quantum gravity, but there's that fucking word that keeps popping up. But let's keep moving further. Now we're talking about a beautiful thing is called, it's the gravitational anomalies that the planet has. The gravitational anomalies, we have positive anomalies, which is basically gravity is controlled by the substrate and the material in the substrate, like basalt, all these other dense rocks. If it's highly mafic or if it's got lots of iron, the electrical pull, the gravitational pull, the electricity basically that the back of this turtle produces down below kind of comes up and kind of hits them metals. And those metals that take a lot of electricity, basically, which you have, your little whatever flows, it makes them more magnetic. And so if you have a lot of iron in the soil, you're going to have more gravity. Now, in my time, with the old classical model, you have the globe, and you had three different kind of anomalies. You had a little bit of a variance on the gravity on the poles, and then you had a little bit of a variance on the equator itself. But not anymore, everybody. It's all now about the substrate in the ground. So if you have a negative anomaly has less gravity in the ground because you got lots of silica in the rock, like granites and all those other beautiful things that has high silica in the ground. But again, go back to positive anomalies, which means you have lots of metals, heavy metals, and those heavy denser metals gives you more gravity. So that's right. If you're a big ass bully, I recommend grabbing that little sissy and pushing them down on something metal. You want to take them to an area where it's got lots of metal in the ground and push them down there or whatever you want to do. I'm only joking. Don't actually do that because that person will fall down harder. In fact, there's areas that you walk around and you'll notice you have more gravity. That's right. You can jump farther. If you're a white guy, you can't jump. But if you're black, you can jump really high. And I recommend if you're a white guy, to make sure you have a quart over granite, lots of silica, because you can jump much higher. And make sure that the other team has lots of iron in the ground because they can't jump very high because of all the gravity from the electricity produced from the core of the fucking whatever flat disk or round disk or the turd that we live on or whatever you want to call this octagon thing. But remember, gravity is not just a ball anymore. Now it's a compilation of what's under the ground. It depends on what the metal makeup of the ground is, the substrate. So remember now, gravity is not just a simple thing. It's complex and it's diverse depending on where you are and what's in the ground. Now, that's a what the fuck. I only remember the old model, the old general relativity that old fucking Einstein fucking put out there. But Einstein is dumb. And Einstein didn't get it right because now, people, we've got multiple variants in gravity all over the back of this turtle. So some places you're going to fall down harder, and some places you're not going to fall down harder, depending on where you're at. And this is what the fuck news, because I've never heard of this new weird gravity anomaly shit. So remember, depends on where you want to beat that person up. Always find a place that's got lots of iron in the ground because they're going to hit the dust harder. And that's all I got to say for What the Fuck News. Have a wonderful day and keep your eyes up to the sky and now keep them to the ground.
Woo! Oh boy! No, when you said about hitting the ground harder, what that reminds me of one of my favorite guilty pleasure movies is Armageddon.
Okay, yeah.
I love Armageddon. And the idea of Armageddon was they need to land on the meteorite that can hit the earth to dig into the ground to put a bomb in. And there's certain parts of the ground that they can only really drill on because because if you land on a certain kind of metal, you know you're going to eat your bits, which they crash landed where they landed on an area that wasn't the normal metal. So I remember when you say like hit the ground. I remember that movie because they were drilling into an iron they never saw before. There was a stronger iron. That you're only drill in certain areas because there's certain areas that it will eat up your bits.
Well, yeah, but now, because they got these organizations, dude. International Gravity Metric Bureau. Again, I'm going to repeat this. This is an international group. It's called the International Gravity Metric Bureau. And they have all these things. You go online right now, Eric. You can go look at the maps and you can see certain areas that are in a dark red and a lighter color. There's different gravitational areas on this fucking wherever you're at on the back of the turtle, whatever you want to call this place. But there's different variants in gravity. Now it used to be on the poles only, and then maybe at the equator. That's your variances of gravity. Now it's all over. I'm going, wait a minute now. So I've noticed in certain areas I feel like I've been all over Europe, and some places I'm exhausted, some places I can fucking run. Some places I'm like, I feel like I'm 1,000 fucking pounds. Why? Again, this is just what the narrative is. But it's really interesting that they have these now. You can look at these infrared thing and they show variances of gravity in this place. And NASA also has a group that does all the gravitational measurements. I go, when did we ever do gravitational measurements on specific locations? You can look up England and see gravitational variances in spots. I go, and that's where the denser metal is, and it's coming from underground, well, whatever you want to call it down there. Whatever the volume of electricity or magnetism, whatever comes up, hits the rocks like an iron magnet, like magnets. So this area is more magnetic. This area is silica, so it's not pear-shaped, like someone says. Yeah, whatever it is, there's something down there, according to what they have, that's adjusting. You know, if it's a ball, if it's flat, it's a pear. So whatever space you have below, whatever you want to call the shape, there's something doing variances, Eric, in gravity now.
Let me ask a question.
So you have different gravity.
Let me ask a question. And I'm not, everybody, guys, I'm not a scientist. I can't say what's real and what's not. You know, I know science. You can science certain metals, finding out what's in it and all that. I know that. Yeah. But this might sound weird. Guys, go along with me on this one for a second. This might sound crazy, but like I said, I don't pretend to be a scientist. I don't know. But how can you study this? Like right in front of me. Like I'm breathing this in. If I had a piece of ground, if I had a piece of metal, you got something to study, right? Study. Yes. But how can you science something that you know what I mean? Like my hands go right through it. How do you science
radio waves? They use particular things like radio waves and sonic waves and different waves to detect particles. You can, and then infrareds. So you could see certain things, and you can measure what gases you have. All the different whatever you have in the air around you, they can measure that. You can have little meters that you can hold up. We did it in archaeology. So you can measure what's around you, which is certain tools. They have those tools. That's real. Again, Eric, you know, like we have the EMF detector. So you're sitting there right now, and I have the electromagnetic detector. You know, we're seeing how much electricity you have coming out of your computer or out of your, remember we do it out of your modem, see how much is coming out of the modem or how much is coming out of the 5G network, whatever. You can measure. So it's all in the air. It's all electricity in the air, in the ether. It's just electricity. So now they're using, by measuring the volume of basically EMF, they can do it from the ground, find out how magnetic it is compared to another area. And they have ground penetrating radar, so they could tell, oh, this is all high iron. Well, this is high mafic, or this is silica, mostly silica, granites and stuff like that, and crystal, and it's less magnetic. So I'm like, oh, I didn't know it actually mattered. Now it does. So you have strong magnetic here, not so strong magnetic here. And I'm like, well, now I'm really confused with the whole. It makes sense, though. It makes sense. But it's almost disproving. It's disproving the general relativity model. I'm like, are they blending it together? Now they have quantum gravity, dude, where the black hole is affecting the gravity from the fucking planet. A black hole and all those other astral bodies are now somehow affecting our gravity. I go, this is really complex shit. It's just a hodgepodge of shit now. Really loaded people down with lots of stuff. I kind of tend to want to believe this one, though. It makes sense to have, if you had a lot denser metal, you'd have more magnetism to it. It's weird. You remember in I think it's Oregon, where they have that weird place where you get in your car and the car goes uphill. If you remember, you take it out and the car will coast uphill. They have places that coast uphill. How the fuck is a car coasting uphill? They say it's an optical illusion. And I always said, well, how is that optical illusion working? They say it's optical, but now I'm thinking maybe it's not an optical illusion. Maybe it's magnetic. Maybe it's fucking magnetic. The car is coasting uphill. They had some guys doing things on the East Coast where cars were coasting uphill. Coasting uphill. Because maybe it's more denser, it's more magnetism, so the car goes up to it. So really weird now. Put it out there for what the fuck news. I don't know if you guys can take it, leave it, have fun with it. I'm sure Tony's in there looking it up right now going, what the fuck? More magnetism. Oh. Texas Danny's looking it up. He's like, oh, that makes sense.
I tell you, a Texas Danny, you probably seen this movie. The movie, actually, The Core, is another guilty pleasure kind of a movie, because in that movie it's about them going through the core and the different levels of the core, different levels on to get to the middle. Yeah. You know, the pockets, the crystals, and all that.
Yeah, stuff. It's a great movie. That would make sense. That actually makes sense to what's this. Actually, if you watch The Core, it makes sense to what they're saying now. That movie really would make and accent that kind of nicely now. Kind of interesting. Take it or leave it, guys. Take it or leave it. It's up to you guys. All right, missing 411, dude. Here we go.
411. 411. So let me blah 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 blah.
Heavy one. Lots of controversy with this one, guys. Actually goes along, Eric, with what. That's why I chose this what the fuck news, because in some cases, in my theory, it's going along with it.
No, it is. It is. Hold on a second. Hold on.
Wait, I'm sniffing because I don't have a cold, or I'm not doing drugs. It's literally almost snowing here in England. I'm a little bit backed up right now. It's cold as fuck. It's like colder than a witch's titty. No offense to witches out there. I'm sure they're warm if you warm them. It's just an old joke. Bad joke. It's cold.
Well, first of all, let me explain missing 411. So basically, guys, when you think of missing 411, it's basically, in simple terms, it's missing bodies, missing people in the United States and Canada. Just missing in the national forest mountains and stuff. They're just missing without a trace. I mean, I'm not talking about murder or not knowing if it's a murder or not. I'm talking about bodies. People are just gone. 1 minute they're there, next minute they're gone, and there's no traces, no footsteps, no nothing. They don't know why these people are gone. So it's not about a serial killer or anything like that, which maybe there is, and we just don't know it. So basically, there's a documentary movie on Amazon Prime. It's actually on Amazon Prime called The Missing 411, where this guy investigates all these missing people, and he was trying to find similarities to each one of these cases. You know, so there's even hold on. I can't play any videos from this guy, people, but I'll just show you this one channel that actually goes.
Well, say his name. Though. Say his name. Give him. This guy's really worth it.
I'm gonna put this channel in the chat right now.
Yeah.
So people can have it, and let me go back to his channel. So basically, it's a guy called Canon Missing Project. It's his project trying to figure out why these people are missing without a trace.
Great, guys.
And what's so
really good
about what he did was in this movie 411 The Haunted, he did a documentary not just on anybody who's missing, right? He actually did it on hunters. And I'll tell you guys why he did it on hunters. Because if you're gonna do research, right? Any common person who's from a city or something that goes up into the mountains, gets lost, could be missing, right? Now, hunters, they know the area. In large part, hunters know their mountains. They know it. So when a hunter goes missing, it's not like somebody from the city goes to an area they've never been to and they walk away from somewhere and they don't know where they're at and they get lost. People who go hunting, Bob and I went hunting growing up. We knew our area. We knew Poison Lake, Poison Meadow, Poison Meadows. We used to on A Zone where it was almost like a desert. We kind of know the area. So can we get lost? Well, yeah, we could get lost, but we kind of know what the area looks like. So when you have missing hunters and there's no evidence of animals, now you think about well, were these people attacked by bears and stuff? Maybe, but the thing is, there's no blood splat, there's no dragging, there's no broken. You just don't know why these people are missing. Hey, let me pull up my I put a poll up on my screen.
What's his first name? I know his last name is Politis. His first name.
I'm gonna go right back to him. I just wanted to go. I put this. I put a poll up just to kind of see what people kind of think, in a way. So I put this poll up. It's basically say what you know about the missing 411. What do you believe? What happened? I put abducted by aliens, was taken away by Bigfoot, killed by regular animals, went through a portal to another reality. Nothing. It's a certified hoax. And what's neat is 52%, which is, I was thinking it's going to be a lower number, think they went to a portal to another reality. I was thinking that people are going to think it was abducted by aliens.
That's what I would have figured.
So that was interesting. It was interesting thinking people went to a portal, which it's a good guess. It is a good guess. Let me go back to this guy, because this guy, here we go. Some of his videos. Missing in Alaska, 2 physical therapists, a psychic finds a missing Michigan hunter. Now, some of these people are found later, but what's interesting is not all has never showed up. But what's interesting about some of these missing a 411 is they showed up 1,000 miles away somehow, and all that
with no memory. With no memory.
Now, I did pull up an article. 10 unsolved missing 411 cases. Now, there's thousands of cases.
Oh, the guy wrote several books on it.
And this guy wrote books. Now, is he doing it for money? I can't tell you that. Because I'm sure if I look at 1,000 cases out of 400s or hundreds of them, I could probably find some kind of a similar thing about them. But it's very interesting to know about. Like, here's one. There's a guy named Stephen Kubacki. Okay. In February 1977, a 24-year-old man named Stephen Kubacki was cross-country skiing through the snow near Lake Michigan. Once he reached the edge of the lake, he took his skis off to sit down and rest. When he got up to leave, his own tracks were gone, and he became lost. The last thing he remembered was walking through the snow, feeling numb and exhausted. He blacked out. In the blink of an eye, it was spring. He was lying in a grassy field in the middle of a forest wearing clothes that weren't his. Sitting next to him was a stranger in a backpack containing running shoes and glasses that did not belong to him either. So here we go. He hiked the nearest town and asked a local resident where he was. They told him he was in Pittsfield, Massachusetts, 700 miles away where he had been skiing.
777.
It is. And why this is interesting was apparently I can't back any of this up. The guy was skiing. He didn't pull out no money out of banks. There was no money pulled out. There was no credit card charges happened since the snow and the spring. So if it is a hoax, where did he go? Did he have friends that helped him? Did he hide out? Because and 700 miles away, if it is, that's a pretty good hoax.
Well, and not only that, they sent help to look for him, guys. They actually park rangers, helicopters, family and friends, people surround cadaver dogs, the whole fucking spiel. These weren't just people fucking hiding out for some kind of cool thing. They would have to have lived in the mountains and then not got dirty and not lost weight. It's just like you'd look like a wild person at that point.
Yeah. It was like he never. It's like he stepped in a portal. He woke up. He woke up kind of like the movie Contact, where she went through the portal, and then when it was done, she they found her on the ground awake. And then she wakes up in a way.
Yeah.
It was like and nothing has happened. It's like it was just seconds. No extra weight. The weight, everything looked the same on him.
It's weird, man. And they even I've watched a lot of his videos. The Politis, this guy says Politis. He was a police officer for 20 years, and he went to the Park Service to ask for. He was going to write a book about missing people because that's what he was a detective, and they wouldn't give it to him. The Park Service. This is the Park Service. The Park Service. We could give it to you. It's going to cost you $35,000 or $34,000. And he's like, $34,000 for what? He says, we don't have anybody that handles that at the Park Service. He says, well, what is it? Freedom of Information Act. He wants to get all the stuff for free. They said, well, we don't, because you're writing a book, but your book isn't mainstream like in all the libraries. We're going to have to charge you. And they were going to charge him like $1.2 million. He's like, for what?
Yeah.
He says, we need to hire a crew to do all the missing people's papers and gather them all up. And he's like, there's more, just as many missing people in the mountains. Now, in a detective, in a regular city, well, they've got it all organized. They've got them in computers. They got them in boxes. They got them all on files, but not at the Park Service.
Yeah.
They don't have anybody do that.
FBI doesn't do missing people if they're not kids.
Yeah.
Now, this webpage I put in the chat, all these videos that are connected to these stories are all from that guy you're talking about right here. Cat and Miss.
Yeah. He wrote several books.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Great fight.
What I've learned when I learned about this guy and all that, people were asking questions. I was watching some of his interviews. They're asking this question, well, why isn't there cameras out in these national forest parks? And he's like, because you're not allowed to have them.
No.
If they found out that you have them, and since now he says, since I became more of a high profile, the FBI people know me. If I show any of these footage, I can get arrested.
Yeah, you can't.
Now, if you drive out to the forest, you can see drones out there. You can't see drones, but technically, it is against the law to have drones out there. So if he uses a drone footage and they know who he is, he could get arrested. Now, people say, well, it's worth it to get arrested. But like you said, he's honest. I even heard this from my wife. If you get a record, that record stays with you for the rest of your life. Even if you get off, even if you're not guilty, that's on your record. And then his reputation is kind of torn apart.
Yeah, it's federal land. So all these federal lands, they require that the Ranger Service, and the Ranger Service, they don't have people to go out and look for people. They have an emergency crew. They gather up a posse. They go look for you. They can't find you. That's it. They write you off. You're sitting in a box somewhere. There is no file cabinet for these missing people. They've got records scattered everywhere. So this guy went out and organized them and put them in the books for people to look at. All these missing people, lots of them in the forest. Mostly explainable, but some are not. Like Eric talked about, some of these missing people who show back up. One of his stories, Eric, was about a baby. It was like a 2-year-old that a guy it was in the back of his vehicle, and he stepped away from his vehicle just for a second. He went back. The child is gone. They had looked 4 days. They'd looked everywhere. No cadaver dogs, nothing. This child is gone. It was a Native American tracker that had went up a mountain and found him on a mountaintop, being surrounded by like trees and stuff, like he's being protected. And they found him, and he was in okay, and they couldn't figure out how he lived through the below zero temperatures, but he was fine.
Is it Jared Tardero?
Maybe it's that kid.
Read this. Let's see if it's this one you're talking about. Okay. In 1993, a 3-year-old boy named Jared Tardero was living with his sister and father, Alan, at the resort. Jared's dad worked in Comanche Wilderness, which is a national park in Colorado. Okay, a Christian singles group was staying at a resort, and one of the women in the group offered to take Alan's kids with them for a few hours to a local fish hatchery. They never asked Alan if they could take the children hiking as well, but they saw a sign for a nearby trail and decided at least a minute. And then they would go through the forest. The Christian singles were so involved in their own hikes that they lost track of Jared, and he wandered away from the group. 2 hikers in the area saw him walking alone, but assumed his parents must be nearby. After this, he was never seen again. Here we go. In 2003, 2 hikers climbed up a very steep rock, face through 550 feet above the trail. They found one child's tooth, a piece of skull, and Jared's clothes, which were fully intact. They had been taken off his body and turned inside out. There was one shoe which looked brand new. Somehow, it was perfectly preserved for those 4 years. The area where the remains were found was far too difficult for a child to climb to himself, and it would have been unnecessarily difficult location for an adult kidnapper to carry him. It also doesn't line up with the bear or cougar attack pattern because the clothes would have been ripped off and covered in blood. Now, this doesn't sound like the story you're saying, but this is interesting because it's right. If a kidnapper, whatever, takes you to a point, how is a shoe, and I guess they did DNA on the shoe that it matched the kid, how was a shoe, after 4 years in the mountains, never aged with the weather?
Yeah, like I said, some kids, the kid I'm talking about, they found 4 days later, but this kid, they've also found other kids that are in impossible places. And here's the weird part, dude. This is what gets a lot of people, and got him, the guy who wrote Missing 411, is that a lot of cases that their clothes are removed and folded. Their clothes are gone and folded, and they're missing. But their clothes are there.
Here's another kid, Bobby Bitsup, Missing 411. In 1958, a 10-year-old, partially deaf boy named Bobby Bitsup was attending a Catholic camp for a boy called Camp St. Malo. The site was on the border of the Rocky Mountains National Park. A camp counselor found him fishing at the river and told him to come back to camp for dinner. The boy started to follow him, and when the counselor glanced over his shoulder to double check, Bobby had disappeared. 400 people searched for 9 days, but they found no clues. 1 year later, Counselors found his hearing aid and bits of torn clothing 2,000 feet upside of the mountain. The search party have already searched, and at least 3 times the year. None of the other remains have ever been found. Okay, this one they haven't found this one. So this one is
there. You get the hard hitter ones, man, where they're not found. Sometimes they're found, and when they're found, they don't have a memory.
Yes.
Yes. They don't have a memory, and they're it's no memory of what happened.
It's almost it's like that movie Fire in the Sky, right? Where
he doesn't come out and say it, but he drops hints. He don't come out and say don't want to say it, but it's as if you would have your legendary Sasquatch that likes to nab people and then take them to places and they either die or they get found. It's weird. I mean, and then of course there's the abductions. The other one was the alien abductions, where they're taken and then brought back. They're brought back with clothes they had left in. People can't find. All of a sudden they just show up. Like clothes are still on them, clean, like they hadn't shaved or no extra growth, no nothing. Show them back up. And then there's the ones where they find it, they're gone, and the only thing they found is their clothes folded and shoes and clothes. I'm a scientist, and I'm thinking if I was some sort of alien and I didn't want any microbials or anything on them, I would take their clothes off, because your shoes contains all the bacteria and horrible things. Clothes probably contain all kinds of bacterias and stuff. It'd be unsafe for your ship. They strip them naked, and I don't know, man. It's really weird stories. Really weird.
Oh, and there's tons of books on this, tons of websites. I mean, here's another one. I think you sent me this one. Missing person cases, never be the last in line.
That's what he said. That's his saying. Don't ever be the last one, because it's always the last one in line that disappears.
Yeah, I mean, it's the following the summary of elements in the case taken from page 109. Victim. Oh, okay. This is interesting. Now, this is some of the similarities that he has found in a lot of these cases. Okay, victims has a disability. Like that documentary on Amazon. The first hunter had some hearing issues, and he couldn't walk very well. So that's why it was weird that guy was gone, because if he walked away, he couldn't go far because he didn't have great knees. And of course, his hearing. Yeah. Now, this one also says victim was playing with his or her dog at the time of disappearance. Victim leaves with dog. Inclement weather hits the area at the time the victim disappears. Search dogs cannot find the victim's scent. Victim is found uphill from where they go missing. Victim is found in a creek bed. Victim is found without shoes. Victim is found dazed or confused. Searchers cannot find the victim. A relative found Casey. Victim is another part of a growing cluster of missing. Okay. So it's
and they've also talked about, like, when they're searching for missing victims. I don't know about this one, but he reported that there's like these staircases that go to nowhere, like just in the middle of the forest, a staircase that goes up. That's fucking weird. He did a whole cluster map like you have up there, you had for the background, of all the areas where they have gone missing and all the mountain areas. And they've even he's even done some on like Australia, where they have gone missing, usually around water. Obviously everyone's like, well, they fall in the water, but they don't find them in the water, so they're not in the water. They go missing around water, but the thing is, they're not in the water, because I was in the Navy, if you know anything about somebody dying of drowning in the water, your body decomposes and it fills with gas, so you float like a balloon. So you're not just gonna sink. They find them around, well, they're missing around water. Also, many of the times they've reported lights in the sky. They more often than not have lights, anomaly lights in the sky, around water, lights in the sky, clothes folded up, shoes included. Just no cadaver dogs find 0 scent. Native American trackers, 0. They find 0 evidence of anything. He was even doing one here at Manchester, the Manchester canals. Well, they were finding bodies floating down the canals, and there's no sign of them drowning. They just were in the canal. But there's a whole different thing on the canals over here. Manchester canals are whole different stories.
Yeah,
but the forest was, yeah.
Oh yeah, and there was one of the investigations that guy did. And FBI agents don't come out when it's a grown person missing. They only come out with kids. But there were some cases that they actually did come out, and they were asking like certain kind of questions that he didn't understand why they're asking or why they were out there. It was like they were hiding something, And now some of these cases, especially that documentary, some people claim they heard sounds, real loud sounds, and then went away. Some people said they've seen a light and went away. So it's hard. Now, the people who just skips forward, maybe there is somehow a hidden portal that they didn't realize they walked into. Because like you said, how can they reappear somewhere? If it's not a hoax, then how can they just reappear without even aging, without even going from winter to spring? Well,
the story of the hunters that walk with the buddy. One of his stories was he's with a buddy. 2 buddies are up there hunting in teams. One goes up one mountain. One's walking around the mountain. They're going to meet each other on the other side. The guy going up the mountain disappears. And the other guy, they can't find him. And then they find him a few days later, and he's again 100 miles away, like a couple 100 miles away. And they asked the guy, well, what happened? He's like, nothing. He just kept walking up the mountain. Then he ends up in a meadow, and that meadow just happens to be in a whole different fucking state. Like, what the fuck?
Now, Tom Murray said, I've heard stories of people lost in the woods who were taken care of by fairies. Who knows?
Who knows?
You can't even take Bigfoot out of the picture because nobody can actually really see Bigfoot, right? You can only get like images, right? Now, if say Bigfoot does attack, say it does, I'm sure if Bigfoot attacks you, you're never gonna find any parts of that body anywhere. Like you can't find Bigfoot in the woods. I'm sure if he takes you, you're never gonna find that person. I'm not saying Bigfoot's behind all this, but you can't take that possibility out.
Yeah, I don't want to make any of the Bigfoot enthusiasts upset, but there is a dark side of that. And I've heard equal amount of stories of children being found in weird places and places up, like we talk about up on top of mountains where they shouldn't be found up there. Yeah. There's no way any animal would have killed them.
Yes.
They were just carried, like something had carried. But again, we got to debunk. So it could be a human that somehow, I'm going to pick up a kid and just carry him up a mountain just to be an asshole. Drop the child off and then take off. That's what the hell? Why would they do that? Right. But, some people going missing.
Right. And if Bigfoot is half human, I can see Bigfoot taking clothes off inside out and stuff. I'm just stretching for straws. I ain't a bear because a bear, if a bear grabs you, you're going to be dragged. You're going to have
everywhere. You're going to be scattered. You're going to find
pick you up and put you on his back and walks away. Yeah. If a bear does, the bear's going to have footprints in the ground. There's no footprints.
Well, they had trackers, and trackers like I can't find anything. There's no evidence of anybody going.
Boulders are where a lot of folks are going missing.
Yeah, the boulders, correct. Yeah, another area is where there's large boulders. People who have gone missing around large boulders. was one of the areas that he talks about. Water, around water areas, no sign of anybody. That means floating. Nope, cadaver dogs, nothing around water where they're at a water area. Boulders, they go, well, they fell over the other end of the boulder. Number one, debunked. But however, there's nothing there. There's nothing there. The dogs can't send anything in there. Lowering people in ropes, no, nothing, nobody. Boulders. That's where they talk about it. Side wacky job conspiracies, but nothing's crazy anymore. Some boulders are not real at their actual portals.
Colorado shows up a lot, and there's a lot of boulders in Colorado.
Yeah,
here's a Colorado man right here, named Maurice Demitz. That's been researched by that guy you're talking about. This is his video. In 1981, an 80-year-old man named Maurice went to pass hunting with his friends David McSweeney. Demitz had a PhD in theology, and in the 70s had said in several publications that he believed the Antichrist was coming. He wrote that the devil would appear as a political, religious, commercial autocrat of the world. They drove to Pike National Forest in Colorado. Once they were in the park, they had to drive 16 miles down a dirt road until they reached a spot called Topaz Point. Native Americans claimed it was haunted by evil spirits. Early settlers called the place the Devil's Head, which is very interesting considering his theological background. Maurice could barely walk. This might be the story I was talking about. Because he had bad knees. He needed David to help him down a small hill to get to a sandy digging spot in the forest. When it was time to leave, David walked to Maurice, digging a spot to say that they would go in about 10 minutes. He went back to his own digging site 150 yards away to clean up his tools. But when David returned to Maurice's spot, the elderly man was gone, which is bad knees. This is one, his bad knees. It would have been impossible for Maurice to climb up the hill on his own, and he couldn't have gotten far into the forest. Yet, he was gone. He honked a horn, called for him, and searched for a long time. McSweeney flagged down a nearby car and he asked him to find the police. When he continued to search, the local authorities searched for 5 days, and yet they never found any evidence. No foul play, no nothing. The police close to the case, claiming that they did all they could do. The man's wife sent a letter to the governor of Colorado to reopen the case, and she never received a reply. After parties created a mini documentary about the case for the missing 411, pointing out there have been a cluster of similar disappearances in Devil's Head. After premiering the mini doc, the police reopened the Maurice case for over 30 years after the disappearance. So now you ask yourself, now I don't care if this investigator has made money off of this, but because he made this public, it reopened the case. Now also, I don't know, Joe Rogan, the same publicist company, Bob, that does his, I guess they were also like in charge that they do some stuff for Joe Rogan. Rogan will not have this guy on his channel and will I watched the whole I watched the interview actually on his own channel. Hold on. I can't show it, but let me show it. Hold on.
You're talking about Dave Politis, right?
Yeah. Let me see here. Okay.
Why?
Hold on.
So Joe Rogan won't have him on the show?
I think it was this one. This is the one I was playing. Yeah. He mentioned because he was asking, he was answering questions because people were asking him questions about how come he hasn't been on Joe Rogan yet. Right? They're asking him because Joe Rogan supposedly does conspiracies, does like the Art Bell of now.
Yeah.
But he said to his own that he tried, but Joe Rogan would have nothing to do with this guy and he has never talked about anything about missing 411. Joe Rogan hasn't touched or talked about missing.
Oh, boy.
I don't know. I'm just getting this information off this guy himself. He said Joe Rogan just will not talk about. I wish I could play that clip, Bob, but all his videos are copyrighted. So I can't.
Well, yeah, that's sad because this guy's doing a lot of good. He's actually opened up many investigations forcibly. The families are stepping up and saying, hey, we want to open these investigations all over again. Bigfoot's probably so. I just didn't want to say that. Well, we're just guessing, Danny. We don't know. We can't say.
Now, okay. Now, Bigfoot's you can say for bodies that never refound. But you can't say Bigfoot's on the ones or the bodies that are refound later on. They're alive.
Well, we also got again portals, time portals. We also have abductions. Then we got down to the old-fashioned Bigfoot abductions. There have been recorded stories of Bigfoot abductions and people talking about being held into camps, whatever.
Our great friend Gamesino Sinat says Joe Rogan is full of. Yeah. Listen. When you don't interview or have guests on that you don't choose to have on, there's something that I would say you're a fraud about. If you're true about searching the unknown, you have to bring guests on that are not already super huge people. I mean, it's like watching an entertainment show on fucking Entertainment Channel. All they interview is all the top people in the world. If you really want to find the truth, you got to interview regular people. Why doesn't Joe Rogan interview this guy? Is he afraid that this guy has more information than him? He's going to make him look stupid? You got to ask those questions.
I don't see why I mean, I know Joe Rogan's in this business. That's why I don't know why he would not interview him. Yeah, I don't know the reason why.
In this business, it's one thing that Joe Rogan don't want to interview me. Okay, I get it. I'm a nobody. But this guy actually is somebody. This guy has 186,000 subscribers. That's a lot of fucking subscribers for YouTube.
Yeah, and growing.
Has a documentary on Amazon Prime, so he's just not a nobody. He's an ex-cop who knows how to investigate. So you got
probably why he's an ex-cop. Probably
could be. Or maybe this guy, maybe Joe Rogan knows something about this guy that there's something.
Or Joe Rogan's got something to hide. He got something to hide. He don't want to ask a police officer questions. I think that's what it is. I don't think Joe Rogan wants to, because that's his job to ask questions. So you probably don't want to ask a police officer, an ex-police officer for 20 years and running police investigator questions. He's like, I don't want to ask questions. I might get questions back at me.
Oh, this might be true. Somebody in the chat wrote almost 200K subs, wants to be liked by Rogan, copyright material. You're right. That could be it too. I don't know. Me, Bob invited Joe Rogan to come on our show.
He should.
He should.
He should get on our show because we're the little acorn, Eric, that becomes the great oak.
Yeah. He should. He should come on our show. We have never once forced any truth on the people to say, you should believe in this. No. We always end every show, have an open mind, just look at it. At the end, it's up to you.
Up to you. Use your own.
We don't force anything. We're not a truther channel. We don't treat lies.
But it is interesting. I think it's really interesting that all these missing people, like the missing 401s, with a lot of Joe Rogan stuff, we hit a nerve with a lot of people. With all these missing people, and there's no where are they? And there's still a lot of them in his books are still missing. There's no evidence to show where they've gone. No nothing. Zero clothes.
They're
Nothing.
really nerve with Joe Rogan, dude. You know, honestly, guys, honestly, I never even knew who Joe Rogan was until Bob mentioned Joe Rogan. I was like, who the fuck is Joe Rogan?
Joe Rogan was on the Man Show, man. I loved the Man Show when he was on there.
I never.
He's a comedian. He's just a comedian.
When he was on the Man Show, was that after the original two guys left?
Yeah, well, it was the original one guy. Remember, one of them went off to make his own TVs. I forget his name. He's got his own show now. He's got his actual live show.
The night show. One of the night shows.
The night show. Yeah, and then Joe Rogan has his own podcast
on NFL. I forgot his name. He's on ABC, like the Disney one.
Yeah, he's kind of a sellout to the system.
ABC,
call it whatever.
ABC night show. I can't.
Yeah.
Oh, Jimmy Kimmel.
Jimmy Kimmel, yeah. Jimmy Kimmel left the Man Show and then he went off. But whatever happened to the other guy from the Man Show? What happened to him?
What was his name? Hold on. I know exactly what you're talking about. He makes documentaries now. Hold on. Let me type in the Man Show. Give me a second. Here, let me.
There we go.
We got to find this out. Here, let me go to IMDb. I'll share my research with everybody. Let's type in
all over the place.
The Man Show. Man Show.
All over the place.
Here we go. Let me see here. There's that Adam Carolla.
Yeah, Adam Carolla. Yeah, he went to radio for a long time. He was awesome, man. Adam Carolla.
He does a lot of projects. He actually does. He produces a lot of small documentaries, and he sells them to like Amazons and stuff. So there's a lot of documentaries that are done by his company, and he makes a lot of good money. So he's not actually in these documentaries. He just puts them together, finances, and they sell it off to bigger companies.
I can't see the Man Show ever working out in current times. It would just be Adam Carolla. Yeah. I loved the Man Show. I loved it.
They were on it. They were fun.
I'm not ashamed to say it. It was funny as satire goes, as comedians go. Everything, they were taking a piss out of all of it. It was all just satire. Of course, now I know Shithead come out and had to apologize for the Man Show. A lot of them, they want to work in Hollywood, have to apologize for making them. I'm like, come on, man. Come on. It wasn't that bad.
No.
I mean, it was funny.
It was fun. It's just because Jimmy Kimmel's Night Show is on ABC, which is owned by Disney. So it has to look. Remember, Jimmy Kimmel, before the Man Show, used to be one of those crazy guys on the NFL networks where that bald-headed Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback used to make fun of as jokes. He was the comedian. He's just a regular comedian.
He
was chubby at that time. He was chubby. And then, of course, the Man Show got him famous. And then he went to the Night Show with Disney. And now he's perfect. He's all Mr. Goody Two-Shoe. You know what I mean? He lost his essence of what fun was.
What made him funny? What was his? Yeah, that was his. He lost his panache that made him funny.
You should never have to apologize for a show that you did. You're happy.
Not for entertainment. That's why I like Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan was the last one for the show, and I never was like, he's a sellout. Yeah, he's a sellout. He is, but his shows are for whatever. They are what they are. I don't consider them overly sold out.
I like them. My ass.
I'll take Joe Rogan over Jimmy Kimmel any day. You know what I'm saying? Dude smokes weed, works out, drinks beer, fucking plays rock and roll.
Even the word sellout is a word that you got to watch out when you say it, because sometimes I even hate that word sellout, because everybody has to make money for a living, you know, and if another group wants to pay you more, that's fine. Just don't lose your essence of what got
keep the same material.
Like you had this favorite band and you love this band, but somehow this band had this one video that got them super huge. Now they're huge. You have to pretend you hate them. Oh, they're sellouts. No, people just happen to like them. More people than just you. And because people like you now, you get to do what you do even longer.
Yeah.
Otherwise, your show ends.
As long as you keep the same material or close to the same material, close. You always got to wash it up a little bit. Depends on your audience. But as long as you keep the same thing going, you don't change yourself too much. That's why people like you. Yeah.
If somebody wants to sponsor this show, I'm not going to say no, because if you and I.
No, I like being poor.
Being serious. If you and I can make this a living, why would we not to? But I'm not talking about to the point where, say, another company bought us for whatever reason, and then you and I come out with suits. No.
Hello.
No. If we came out with suits and never said another bad word, yeah, you could say.
Yeah, I'd be fired.
But if somebody wants to sponsor us because they like what we're doing and we can keep doing this the way we do it, that is not a sellout. That is making sure that your show is going to be here for people going forward.
Yeah, definitely. Totally. Yeah. People only know about it because it's pushed. Oh, I don't know what that is. Oh, I disagree. I don't know. Yeah. I think she's probably talking about Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan's just, I don't have anything against the guy. He chooses his material. He's trying to he keeps going up. He was purchased.
He plays it safe.
Plays it safe. Yeah, he does what he's got to do. He's part of the revolution. Everybody becomes part of the revolution when push comes to shove, no matter what camp you're in.
Yeah,
we get down to that point.
You know how Joe Rogan could gain a lot of points with a lot of people?
Oh,
easy. Go on our show. Because we're not safe. We're not safe. You come on our show, you know these guys are not safe because, listen, I give Jake Dyer a lot of credit because he has been on TV. He has books, and he was a guest on our show.
I know. That was crazy.
That could, people, his friends can say, dude, you're fucking crazy for going on those guys' show. But he did. He's a TV guy. He's a book. He's a TV guy. I like the guy.
The guy was great. He had a great sense of humor.
But he came on our show. He didn't have to.
Yeah. Great sense of humor. Long as the hell.
Beyond that, that's the only big guy that ever came on our show. But beyond that.
There'll be more.
I tried to get some of these people. I tried. But they don't come on our show.
David Pilates on. We're gonna get him. We're gonna get the missing 411. I'm actually serious. We need to send him an email. I want to get David Pilates on here now. We're not giving him justice, guys, on the material he puts out there. The guy busts his ass for these missing people's cases, children, adults, senior adults. He does a lot of hard work. I highly recommend you guys look up missing 411 information. He's got his own website. It's really good. The stories are fantastic. I like to solve puzzles, so I like to listen to someone go, I can solve this one. I know exactly what's wrong. Yeah. I know where this person went, but yeah. So we're just we're not giving it 100% justice. We're just telling you kind of the highlights of the missing people and the weirdest parts, like the clothes folded and missing around boulder areas. Oh, but he talks about with the missing 411, nobody was ever missing if they carried a firearm, believe it or not. If you carried a firearm, they're not. They found there had no missing people that had firearms. Also, there has been the aliens and Bigfoot or whatever was kidnapping people don't kidnap you with firearms. Also, if you have a GPS, if you carry a GPS with you, you're not. Apparently, you're not taken either. So there's a criteria for people that are missing. Believe it or not, according to his information. And he's got hundreds of documents of people going missing. Not one of them had a firearm. Not one of them had a GPS on them. So he highly recommends you go in a group, two of you, if not more, have a GPS, each and every one of you, and I don't care if you like it or not. Carry a firearm. I mean, a small, that's fine. Whatever it is, carry a firearm. Eric, you and I were kids, and we carried firearms. Dad's like, here, you carry a rifle. You don't leave camp without a rifle. Do not leave camp without a. I had a 30 carbine on my side, which is really loud. We shoot it in the air to let Dad know where we're at. I always carried a 30 carbine out there for squirrels, but yeah. So if you're going hiking or camping, make sure you have a firearm, some weaponry, and GPS, and go with a friend.
Yeah.
That's what I learned from all his missing people.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, watch out and don't go to Lake Crystal. Was it Lake Crystal?
And guys, this is my favorite website right here, GypsyRoad.live.
It is.
This fucking channel is the best. I mean, my God, look at all this shit. You want to read something about ghosts? Look, ghost stories. Look, UFOs. And if you want to learn how Jason Voorhees was a drug lord, right here. Jason Voorhees, professional cartel drug lord.
Yeah, it's good having your own site for everything. That's good. Oh, that's great. Yeah. There it is. Extraterrestrials kidnapping people. Be careful. I don't think the aliens like you if you carry a firearm. Those of you that are passive, I'm really sorry. You'll be abducted. Maybe that's what you want. I don't like to be abducted.
No, like I said, the missing 411 after everything, it's almost could be the easiest subject to talk about because you can have 1,000 theories, but it's the hardest. It's the hardest subject to talk about because you really don't know. And I said it before. If you look at 1,000 cases, there is something you can make similar. And some people do things for money, for shows, like make up everything. But you just can't make up every single story that people are missing and re-showing up people. I mean, you can make up stories on a few things, but a lot of these stories are interesting, and you got to ask yourself, what did happen? Now, some of it can be UFOs, if you believe in it. Some of it can be Bigfoot. It could be a combination of
things.
It could be a combination that makes up this big number, but you do have to ask yourself that why can't they find evidence of being dragged, or why are people with disabilities just missing?
Yeah, and the government, according to what I was reading and stuff, they don't want to cooperate. He has a difficult time, with the exception of the working cop, whatever, the sheriff, whatever. They were more than willing to cooperate and give him all the information he needed for any missing case, any missing person's case when it comes down to that. But when it comes to the government, he had a really hard time getting information. This fucking government, man. It's just, like, you don't want to, have somebody that's a professional and throw a little bit of bone out there and bring it to the people's ear holes, and they can, hey, maybe I've seen this person, or I have some missing information to help this poor family out. Yeah, God, man, they're so bad. Just they don't care. Again, somebody puts down satanic ritual kidnapping. Well, I don't know. Maybe it's on the table. Maybe they're being hunted down by these son of a bitches and then taken away. Plausible. Absolutely plausible. Another what you call a trafficking ring. It's a little hard to go out to the mountains to go find people. I mean, you don't have much variety to select from, with a bunch of old deer hunting drunks, but that's plausible. Yeah.
I want to shout out to Kelly Jean, because Kelly Jean just says, just sub you. I want to think, hey, Kelly, welcome. Kelly, if anybody who's actually never been to my channel before, that's not, hold on, that's not the, I want to show, hold on. I want to show, let me know when I get to the videos. Hold on, second, videos. Give me a second. Here's the live video. Is this okay? Now here, now Kelly. Now we're not kidding. We talk about everything. One of our favorite shows was actually done Monday. The controversial of art back, and we talk about records backwards. We talk about the year of the metal ox in 2021. We talk about how Thanksgiving there has been theories about aliens been there during the when Thanksgiving was supposedly been invited. Matrix: The Final Frontier. We even did a show on Howard the Duck. We've done shows with paranormal people that's from channels like the Paranormal Underworld, Through the Veil Paranormal, Demon Hunters, Legend of Bigfoot, the girls from the Bigfoot community, fantastic people. Matrix Unveiled. We even did a fantastic show with about dreams with what was her name? I'm sorry, special guest named Carolina Fonseca Jimenez. She's an awesome person about dreams. So we try to do shows about everything, haunted places, conspiracies. So we try to do topics. We try to do every topic there is. I don't know how else you can say it. We don't just do it on one topic. Coming up for next week, we are going to do a show. Maybe, I don't know if it's going to be on Monday, Wednesday, or Friday. Maybe it is a Monday. We're going to do a show about the skies, about the stars.
Yes, constellations.
We're going to be doing a show this Monday about constellations.
Yes, about time, man. Whoa.
Well, the constellation is interesting because not just the old-fashioned of what the constellations, what the shapes are. There's been so many different shapes that people are seeing now that are dealing with the constellation of different shapes. So we're going to be talking about all those different shapes, all of the new shapes,
mythologies, all the different weird stories. There's so many different stories, dude, of these constellations. I'm blown away I'm like, I don't remember this story ever. And this is the coolest thing. And plus, we have on the 21st, it's that Jupiter and Saturn are going to be side by side. It's going to look like some people are comparing it to the Christmas star when baby Jesus was born. And they saw that star of Bethlehem. I'm saying on the religious circle, they're like, it's exactly like the star of Bethlehem. It's going to be that bright. It's going to be bright and right next to the moon. So I can't wait to see it on the 21st of December. It's going to be crazy, dude. We're definitely have to do a show. We'll be doing a show that night. I'm going to be taking a look at it and see what the hell's going on.
Oh,
it's going to be recorded.
Killer Gene just hurt my feelings.
What's that?
She's talking about subbing to Tony, not me. She's been with us for a while. Oh, it's great to have you.
Screw Tony.
Screw that guy. Fuck him. Just us.
He's a big bully. He's entertaining as hell, though. I've been on his show several times. I recommend Tony's channel. I've been on his show several times. I've always had a good time. Always had a good time. Safe, fun. Everyone's having a great time. Lots of fun conversations. They go everywhere. So that's another good channel. Cheers.
You gotta have an open conversations with everybody. Once you close yourself off to outside stuff, then you're nothing but a cult fraud, and you only want to keep a certain kind of people to watch you. I'm open to everybody. I don't care what community you come from. I don't even really like using the word community in a way, because when you say you belong to a certain community, it makes it sound like you're belonging to certain cults. You're not.
Well, I feel like it's The Walking Dead.
You belong to life.
I feel like The Walking Dead. This is our apocalyptic group. Then we're gonna fight each other for what? Resources. The resources are free. You just pull it out of the air.
Resources
if you can see things,
it's up to you. Hey, if you're one of those kind of people that like watching people who just make fun of people wearing masks, okay, that's your thing. That's fine.
Yeah.
That's your thing. I can't see entertainment in watching people make fun of people wearing masks, but if that's your thing, or if you think it's fun watching people go to stores screaming because they won't let you without a mask, if that's your thing, that's your thing. I think that's shit. I'm so sick of all that shit. But hey, if that's your thing, fantastic. I love you all for it. So guys, we are going to end it. So Monday we're going to be talking about constellations, and I'm thinking maybe on a Wednesday and Friday, I kind of do want to do a show again to dive deep into the Medela world to kind of like dive into like not like Medela effects where you're talking about the monopoly heads again, but I'm talking about decoding some of the codes, Bob, where you're talking about how you're using math. Where I want to do a show where I want to pull out maybe the top 10 or 20 biggest, according to the networks, of what the Medelas are, and see, Bob, if you can find a code that's within.
Yeah, I like finding the codes in them. Again, I don't look at anybody's channels when they come up with like, oh, this is a new whatever. You know, I debunk first. So when I look at it, I try to look at the debunking aspect of it. If it's something that I could resonate with, yeah, that's fucking weird because that's exactly how I remember it. Then I move into the code aspect and say, what's the numerology for this thing? What's the change for this thing? If there is, in fact, a change, I try to do it all, but I try to use science at the same time.
Let's see if we could decode it. So maybe I'll call it Medela being decoded.
Decoded, yeah. Decoded.
So that's and then and whatever other topic could be from somebody want to recommend us for a topic to do. I'm open to anybody's topic. So guys, that's it for today. I want to thank everybody for showing up. It was fun. And that's it. Have a nice day.